Here's your daily market review for Wednesday, April 17th, 2024. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your daily market review for Wednesday, April 17th, 2024. Hopefully you're surviving, handling the market down well. You're anticipating it like we talked about. We know it's options expiration, could be a little choppy, but we do know that the trend is down. Near term, not surprised if we do bounce, oversold, potentially, OPEX, games, all the fun stuff that happens this time of year during earnings, during OPEX. So if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, link description below. Just be aware that do not chase. If you want to buy things that seem to be at reference point lows, define your risk. If you're short from the highs, you might want to hedge, sell some options, whatever you need to do. Trade around your positions, manage them, because at some point, the market doesn't go in one direction all the time. And so even though I think the trend is down, don't be surprised if it bounces. And if it ends up going back towards the highs or playing some games like that, you've locked in some profits. You've done what you're supposed to do, which is go with the market, do what it's doing, and try to maximize your potential. So again, let me know how I can help. Check out a Calendly link. Let me know what you need help with, whether it's buying, selling, investing in real estate. You need to find a great agent no matter where you're at. You need help. Have a question about real estate. Don't hesitate to reach out and then say, you have something about trading? No doubt. Use the Calendly link. It's in the description. Also, too, check out thetradingagent.com. Hit your Marcus account, get your 5.5%, get your interactive brokers. And also, I'm telling you, if you're new to the trading, please, 3 books. 3 books, all you need to read. And again, the basic stuff you can figure out, but how the mindset, how the markets work, and the almanac, really important stuff. So, again, you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. Y'all are amazing. Also, follow on Twitter. This is where I'm posting all my trades as well. If you're not part of the Discord room, follow. All right, CME, we know going forward, I've said this, I'm on record every video. At this point, do not be surprised that there's no rate cut coming at this point. Inflation is technically high. And that the only way that they're going to get this is with some black swan event, more geopolitical risk, or a banking issue. And at this point, I'm betting on maybe all 3 potentially, but one. But we know the recession is coming. We know the market's slow. We know the economy will slow because raising interest rate has a lagging effect. It's 3-6 months out. It's probably not even that. It's now. I mean, look at all the jobs layoff. If you're following my post, like we're following, like the stuff is happening quickly. It's only going to get worse. And if the Fed's cut rates, trust me, it might not be a buying opportunity. It probably is them admitting, oh, geez, we kept rates too high for too long. Bitcoin, as we talked about, has to hold the 61,000 area. Needs to get over 71,000. I've said this, and I'm on record multiple times. At worst, it's going to chop around. At best, it's going to chop around before it makes new highs, or it could get slaughtered. Again, they throw the baby out with the bathwater. Try to explain this oil. Again, geopolitical risk holding it up in time. We have to fill the SPR. I don't think the downside is as bad as it once was when the futures went negative and during COVID, right? Near term, natural gas, again, I like natural gas. I just don't be surprised if it goes lower, but doesn't have much downside. Dollar has been holding up pretty well. We talked about how it's probably due for a little bit of a pause. TLT said yesterday, would be surprised if it bounced here. Especially yesterday's action. I mean, we've gone from 94 down to 87. Pretty fast move. Not surprised you're getting a counter move near term. Again, I wouldn't be surprised also, too, if people are buying bonds to go, well, yeah, the future doesn't really look good, and maybe I need a hedge, need to hide some money. VIX, we talked about breaking out, but back testing the trend line seems pretty normal, typical. SPY, talk about once it broke 513, we're going to fill this gap potentially at some point. But everyone's anticipating it. So here's the thing, like why not chop it around and then reaccelerate down? Because again, we talked about the first drop gets bought. Now the 20 days is breaking. I mean, again, anyone buying the dips down here is just, unless you're trading it, fine. But if you're like permanent long-term bullish buying the first dip off the high after the market ripped this, I mean, I don't know, is it 25% off of what, AI? You got to be high to your mind. Again, I see their comments in the post and like, oh, always bullish. And it's like, no, trade the market. Talk about the Qs breaking levels. IWM has been leading down, just absolute trash. Small caps, like zoom out. I'll do it for you. Like we're lagging hard, y'all. Lag, the lagging indicator, lagging. You fake breakout, you give it all back. Now you're back at some areas that you better hold. Diaz, we talked about them leading up, starting to lead down, holding around the 100-day. Gold, again, I like gold long term, but do not be surprised when they throw the baby out with the bathwater and do some what? I don't know, damage. We talked about the first dip probably getting bought, but that looks like a high. Look at the candle. Look at the volume. Now, again, I'm not saying gold has to get absolutely curb stomped, but don't be surprised if it doesn't go anywhere. Don't be surprised if it pulls back. And that's where I think the miners make sense to short, because when the market gets crushed, they throw the baby out the bathwater. These miners are not immune. Silver, same thing, like blow off top. GDX, blow off top, right? Look at these candles with big volume. We talked about the first dip getting bought on GDX, not surprised. So I'm watching now again for any dips on the dust under 8. Makes sense. Mid, upper 8s probably is a good solid position to add. Again, if you go in the past, you watch these videos, you've been following the channel, you know what happens. Miners, if there's any credit issues or any like global instability, all of a sudden they can't do what? They probably can't get the money they needed for to mine. What if they can't get the lending facilities they need? It just they get penalized, and again, it doesn't make sense because gold will go higher in time, but that's when you buy that dip. And that dip, it could be incredibly strong. It'd be 30, 40, 50%. AG, same thing. Here you go. Pops up, gap down, said be careful. AEM, range highs, giving it up. If you zoom out. Man, I guess it's a far zoom. Yeah, I mean, you've got resistance. See, look to the left. Look to the left. To the left. To the left. Newmont, we talked about this one being like acting crap. Like, should be in the 70s or 80s, but acting crap. Pulls back to the 200-day. I mean, good luck. Pass. Nice run up. Pausing. Okay, let's talk about tech, right? Taiwan Sen. We talked about, I think it was ASML. I don't remember exactly, but one of the chip makers didn't do so. Like, again, their guidance was not great. Not surprising. Again, everybody starts pumping out chips. We talk about this cycle, boom and bust in chips. Everyone's busting out chips now, and all of a sudden the economy slows, and you have a glut of chips. What's going to happen? Pain. Watch Taiwan Semi 20-day. Micron, been holding up pretty well. Not today, though. Finally broke the 20-day. Uh-oh. AM Dizzle. Been said this has been leading down. Leading down. Again, my favorite short is semis. They were like, you're crazy. I'm like, okay. Watch what happens. After the close, looks like Drunkenmiller sold all of his NVIDIA position. This gap is filling pronto, in my opinion. 820s. Talked about that post that day. SMCI, been holding up pretty well. Close at the 20-day. I mean, worst case scenario, this thing's going to have to chop out and consolidate. And it could get smoked down too. Intel, we've talked about. Look at Intel. Just heading lower. Again, but if these things oversold near term, don't be surprised they chop around. SMH, though, broke support. Now you better hold 213. If not, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't touch. I mean, look at this, the gap, and I mean, you can see it. 100-day, the gap will probably line up at some point. Got it. Adobe, talked about this gapping down on earnings, chopping around, doing nothing, making lower lows, lower highs. Apple bounces, but then they're like, yeah, we're going to miss our numbers. Oops. Coming right back down to range lows. Watch the 168 area. I mean, this breaks, goodbye. Amazon's been holding up for a long time, riding the 20-day. Right in the channel. Uh-oh. Watch it. Meta, 485. Better hold. Better hold. Then who knows? I mean, again, we've talked about CRM gapping down. Like tech, look at all the weakness in tech that's been leading. Well, now it's leading down. Uh-oh. And people are still bullish. I'm like, where is your freaking head at? Just follow the evidence. GOOG holding up pretty well. Got to give it credit. Watch the 20-day. That bottom low. Microsoft, hey, it's going to break out. Nope. Giving it back. Keep in mind, there's earnings this week. I think you have Netflix on Thursday. Some of these names, we talk about NDAQ. This name is going to get cooked in time, in my opinion. Range highs, give it back. MicroStrategy said, watch the 1200 range. Wow. Well, we know this thing's a little wild. Look what it did. Broke below it. Technically, there's a gap at 150. I haven't bought any of this, but again, I don't really trust Bitcoin. Like I was hoping that the market would crush. Maybe Bitcoin pops a little bit and this name holds down. But at this point, I don't know. Netflix earnings Thursday after the close. Typically this quarter's earnings is not good, right? There's a big rush into the end of the year, and then there's like kind of like this vacuum after that. Like, why would new people be signing up? Everyone signed up for the holidays, and now they're not. That's typically how it's been going. Roblox chopping around, doing nothing. Pan W again, I'd like this because this is Pelosi's play. She's buying calls on this long term. I'd like it, but I'm not chasing it. If the market pulls back, see what it is. But she's betting on cybersecurity issues. Why not? She knows what's up. She knows it's coming. Tesla, we talked about this gap down. Could it be a bottom near term, or is it the start of a big down move? Either way, this thing's been crap. We've told you to stay the heck away from it. If you listened, congrats. If you didn't, I don't know why. Airbnb, we've talked about this one again, like 20-day curling down. Costco, every time it hits the 20-day, turning over. Not so hot. Starbucks, this has been a global growth like story. Like this is what should be doing well. Downtrending. But again, oversold. Goes from 91 down to 84. Don't be surprised if it bounces a little bit. Federal Express popped on earnings a couple weeks ago and then giving it all back. Things you don't see if the market's bullish. Again, people who are screaming buy the dip, again, you guys leave comments in the videos. You're clearly not watching the videos because the evidence is clear. Caterpillar, which has been on fire, now breaking the 20-day. Nucor, which tried to break out, now giving it back. Again, I like material names long run. Letter X, again, I like materials long term. They will get bought out. Let these names pull back. VALE, global growth name out of Brazil. Back at range lows. Looks like Shiznit, Arrow. Again, we like copper. This is a junior, like a smaller name. Gets up here, fills the gap. And again, they throw the baby out of the bathwater. The VIX starts popping. You better be hedging. Best be hedging. Yeah, CCJ talked about the him and hers, him, top. I hate when Goldman Sachs upgrade stocks at the highs. CF, again, we'd like ag long term because you got to eat, but these names are just choppy and consolidating. They're going nowhere fast. Again, I wouldn't mind to see consolidation in the industry, maybe as a bottom, but we haven't seen it yet. Chop, 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 chop. AA, again, I believe in aluminum big time long term. I like Alcoa. They have earnings after the close, actually. Let's see what they did. You check the 10 minutes. It's hanging around 36. Really nothing. I like it long term. XLF popping around today. Rates got lower. I mean, again, we talked about don't be surprised. They're in OPEX. You go from 42 down to 39. I know it's, whatever, 8-9%, whatever. Don't be surprised if it chops a little during OPEX. That's my game. Again, define your risk. If you have shorts and you want to roll them up, stop, go ahead. JP Morgan, this gap down said game over. Morgan Stanley Morgan had earnings, popped, chopping around. Bank of America, popped, flopped, dropped. Post earnings. Goldman Sachs popped on earnings, gave it back, chopping around. I mean, again, imagine all the people who bought calls, and then they bought puts, and now the market makers are like, let's just chop this mother effer during OPEX. Let's get all those folks stuck. Carry, as we've talked about, holding up like near term, potentially oversold. I mean, maybe not really holding up over, but then chopping around. Like you can see, if it breaks this level, goodbye. And when I say holding up, like chopping around, but definitely not as the market makes new highs since December. Like this thing has just been lagging. Should be breaking out. XPI, here's another one, like junior bios. If everything's great in the economy, that's a risk on. Does that look like risk on to you? 106 down to 84. That ain't risk on. That's risk off. TAN, again, I like solar to get crushed in time. Chopping around. I mean, not surprised. I think there's some earnings coming up. Be careful. I mean, these names in time, I think, go much lower when oil gets crushed and they throw the baby out of the bathwater. And these names just get annihilated. First Solar, yeah, I like this one on pops. This one's a little trickier. It's kind of like MicroStrategy. It's a gamer. HYG, as we talked about for weeks, I'm like, you got to be high out of your mind to buy corporate debt. Breaks the lows. Now it's holding potentially support in the 75. Makes sense, right? Oil got cooked today, right? Little cooking. Not surprised. Again, global growth is going to be slowing. UNG, again, I don't like this ETF. I don't like the downside. I like cold KOLD on any major pop. Short the shiznit out of this long term. If you zoom out, it decays. It's great. XOP, again, here we talk about leaders stop leading. Like oil and gas names were on fire. Fills the gap, backing off. Now, near term, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some dip buyers because they have been doing well, but they don't really look good. Like ExxonMobil, like trying to break out of the bigger top and gives it right back. Again, maybe they go higher if there's more geopolitical risk. But I've talked about the gasoline names. They've peaked. Now, again, can they get bought on the first dip? If they don't, that tells you a lot, right? If they just continue to like stair step down, that just tells you people want the hell out. CVE, we've talked about. This has been a great name. Again, shout out to Jay Solstice in the Discord room. Talking about the breakout, probably going up into the 20s. Got it. But near term, probably going to take a pause, right? EQT, again, I like this name because I think we'll be natural gas exporters. Chopping around. Chop, chop, chop. Fizz, 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 fizz. And then Flex LNG. Oh, actually, don't let me forget Oxy. Because again, here's another name. Like, looks like it's going to break out. Oh, we're going. Gives it back up. No. Flex LNG. Again, we'll end it here. I like natural gas exporting. I mean, this thing has a big, juicy dividend. So if you have any questions, please reach out. Hit me up. Join the Discord room. Let me know how I can help. please do not hesitate to reach out if you have anything related real estate. Because if you are buying or selling real estate, again, you should be lining up to buy. So if you need help finding an agent, starting searches, getting things figured out so that when it is time to buy, you got 2 agents, me and your great agent in your local area. Or if you're looking to buy or sell your house, you better do it right. You don't want to get stuck in the market, because again, if you get stuck, the price for your listing is only going to go down. So if you have any questions, please reach out. Always here to help. Have a great, wonderful night.